Tonight we have a fascinating show for you. It involves the will of the state legislature and the will of the voters and some politicians who sort of seem determined to stand in their way. Yes, there is a lot to talk about tonight. We're focusing on deflection for people caught with drugs when recriminalization begins September 1st in Oregon. It appears there will be little change in Multnomah County, with the deflection program looking very much like the recently changed Measure 110. And that, my friends, is our big story tonight. Now, I got to say right off the top, hats off to the Oregonian newspaper and reporter Noelle Crombie, who broke this story. We think it's worth your time, and you should read her story if you haven't already. It was published yesterday. Here's the headline. Caught with street drugs in Multnomah County, post-Measure 110 plan will offer drop-off center or arrest. But I think mostly it's offering a ride to drop-off center and nothing more. Her story points out that the county's deflection plan will not require people caught with drugs to enroll in substance abuse treatment, and it will not limit how often a person can opt for so-called deflection over arrest. Her article goes on to point out that a person will only have to check in at the drop-off center to fulfill that deflection requirement. And before we get too far into this, let's make sure that we're all on the same page. Last winter, the Oregon legislature undid Measure 110 and recriminalized drug possession. That part of the law does not kick in, though, until September 1st. And as part of the compromise to get this through the legislature, lawmakers agreed that counties should set up a deflection program that would give people found with drugs a chance to get treatment and help. That's the deflection. They're deflected away from jail and into treatment. Some diehard supporters of Measure 110 hated everything about it, but many Democrats did support the plan and admitted there is a need for action. Here's Democrat Senator Kate Lieber, who helped steer the House Bill 4002 through the legislature.
We have to take action to save lives and make sure every Oregonian is safe in their communities. And our current response to the drug crisis is not working.
Okay, so that was last winter. And drug possession is being recriminalized, with people found in possession are going to get treatment. At least that's the way it's being set up in Washington County and over in Clackamas County as well, according to the Oregonian story. There will be consequences there for skipping out on the deflection program steps, but apparently not in Multnomah County. Now, I wanted to ask the county chair and the district attorney why they're crafting a plan with no consequences. Neither office responded to me today, although it is a holiday. You know who did respond, though? The man that voters elected to be the next district attorney for Multnomah County, Mr. Nathan Vasquez. And guess what? He's being kept out of all of deflection planning meetings, despite the fact that he's going to take over as DA in January. I talked with him about that this afternoon. And now I'm joined by Nathan Vasquez, the district attorney-elect for Multnomah County, who you would think would have a big hand in figuring out this deflection program. How's that going?
Well, I'll tell you, it's hard to say because I have not been asked to join any of those conversations. And
why not?
Well, you would have to certainly ask either the county or the district attorney's office, but it's something that I desperately want to be involved with.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about what you've heard so far then? I'm
very concerned. I think it falls very short of what the expectations are under House Bill 4002 and what the expectations are of this community.
What do you think will happen if their plan goes forward as we're seeing in the Oregonian?
I don't see this as a meaningful change from what we saw under Measure 110. I see it as going down the same path. It's a return to that failed formula. And in some cases, you could even say maybe it's worse. I mean, you're looking at a situation where, if it's true that they're going to do unlimited deflections, what message does that send? And, and also that the deflection is currently being proposed as being successful when they drop someone off at the center or whatever that they do. Essentially, there's zero meaningful accountability and there's zero meaningful connection to treatment.
Yeah. And the people on the streets will know that very quickly. They wave to the police officer, they wave to the recovery center, and off they go.
Yeah, and what I see happening in some of our surrounding communities is vastly different. I mean, it's just you have a system where the district attorney's office is intimately involved in the formation of the deflection program, and it has some real measures of accountability, and it has some real expectations that these individuals are going to be meaningfully engaging in treatment. And that's something that, that I'm dedicated to, is seeing folks actually get connected to treatment and to have that measure of accountability to see that we are making progress.
And we've heard that from our viewers. I'm sure you've heard that from your voters, that people don't necessarily want these folks thrown in jail unless they refuse to get help, and then maybe you need a little bit of a stick. But there's no stick anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the way that this is built and the way that the community has discussed it is that it's designed to have lots of off-ramps, all designed to get people into treatment, and that's what I want to see. But if it's going to be developed the way that it's currently being discussed, it is really creating a revolving door that, I mean, it's really, I don't even know if you can call it a revolving door. It's almost like a roundabout where they're just going to be, swept to one different location where then I have every expectation they'll go back to where they started and we'll do it all over again.
Why haven't you tried to get more involved?
I have. I've certainly asked that permission from my office. I have been trying to talk to various folks about this program. I want to be involved.
So the district attorney, Mike Schmidt, and Jessica Vega-Peterson, they're not open to your offers?
I don't know about the chair yet. She and I have had some good conversations, and I do believe that we will have a very collaborative relationship, and I really want to work with her office. But certainly from Mike Schmidt, there has been zero cooperation in that front.
Any idea why?
All I can say is that we have wildly different views on what a smooth transition is. My idea of a transition is one where there's actual, you're working together, that the DA-elect has an opportunity to meet with management, to talk about transition, to be involved in the very programs that I'm going to be dealing with when I take office. And I can tell you that we don't share that vision.
Yeah, and your term doesn't start till January 1st, and he said he's going to serve out his term, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But once you're in office, then you're in there for 4 years.
Yep.
And what's being set up now by the county is something you're going to inherit and have to live with and answer to the public for.
Yeah, and here's the other part. Yes, I don't take office till January, but this office still needs leadership. The district attorney's office needs a strong voice and needs to be a strong participant in this program. And right now I don't see that.
If you had your way, what sort of a system would you set up for deflection?
Well, it's a little tough not being at the table to have those conversations with all the different partners, but I can tell you there are things that that I would certainly be demanding and advocating for. Things like, it can't be unlimited deflection. You need to have a situation where, yes, we want to give people opportunities, but it can't just be a blank check. You can come back tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. You need to develop a program that has real accountability, and part of that means that people are meaningfully engaging in treatment. Because if they're making zero efforts to do that, why are we even doing this?
Yeah, there's nothing changing.
Yeah.
And I think even in Portugal, which is the leader that a lot of people like to look to, they do have consequences for not showing up for these panels that want to talk about what their issues are.
Yeah. And it is a situation where, yes, I believe this program will evolve and change through time, but I don't think that means that we should start out by creating a flawed program.
Yeah, all right. And do you, with your perfect program, people would have maybe 1-2 chances to skip a meeting and then there'd be consequences?
Well, yeah, I mean, the way it should be set up is a question of when are you successful in deflection? It is that, right now what I hear is currently contemplated is that when you get dropped off at the door of this deflection center.
That's success.
That's success.
Yeah, not to many people though.
No, I believe that success is when an individual has demonstrated some real effort to say, yes, they went in. They made contact with a provider. They got on a wait list. They attended meetings. There are lots of opportunities out there, and it certainly is on the county and on the system partners to make sure that we're putting things in place to help individuals. Absolutely, but they also need to be taking steps and efforts to get there as well.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. All right, Nathan Vasquez, thanks for taking the time on this holiday to come explain this to us.
Absolutely. All right, thank you.
Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think the incoming DA should be included in the deflection planning? Or do you trust the current DA and the county chair to put together a plan that's going to work? Email us, will you? The address is thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave a voicemail, 503-226-5090.